just finished up the major blocking with my bigger saw, and I've done some markings here to get my mind refreshed on where everything is. And I'm going to get the smaller saw and do some defining here of where this tail is. See, this piece from here forward isn't needed. This ledge here is just here for the tail. So everything in front of the tail from here over can be removed. And then in here, see, this tip of the tail here is going to touch the front edge of the paw. You can see down here where it was drawn when the sculpture was wider. So when I push my saw in here, I may push it in sideways like this to get this line and come up in here as far as I can go and do a plunge cut that way. And then I've got enough angle here to do a plunge cut, because it doesn't matter if I cut down into this, because this whole piece is going to go. And then I'll have to do a little more of a wallowing out up here because it's too narrow. So I can get one good cut all the way through, another good cut all the way through. And one of the things I got to watch out for is, say, where the leg comes up here. The reason this line is down so low is because that's where the chest cavity comes to a point. It kind of angles in from both sides and comes to a point. And then on this particular dog, up in about here in the middle, up front, is a little tuft of hair. So I want to leave enough room to carve that tuft and the other things up front in the way the hair comes together on this dog that makes it look like this dog. bring you down close here so you can see what's happening. So I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided block of wood I'm trying to remove. And it's caught in a couple of different places. I've been blowing air through it. You can see some of it's looks like it may not be cut all the way through yet, but that could be sawdust also. So I'm using a chisel. I'm using a chisel and a mallet to pound out what I can, cutting at different angles. I think the primary problem is that on the back side of this tail, the wood underneath from here to here, all the way under, unless I was able to cut it from the other side, is still connected. So I'm gonna keep taking cuts at angles. Like I'll cut here at an angle and then pound those out and just keep going little by little. This is a very dangerous place conceptually for the sculpture, because it's very easy once you start making all of these odd cuts to go too far, to not really remember where your saw is. Frustration sometimes builds up and you're thinking, I'm just gonna get this thing out of here. Just take a deep breath. It'll be all right. Take a little longer than you thought, but you want to take your time, do it right, and don't tear up your sculpture. I'm talking to myself here, can you tell? I want to set this up on this side and do my cutting from the other side so you can see the saw coming through and get a feel for what's happening over here that's invisible to me. And determined that the bar on my saw is just not long enough. So I've got to get it out of the jaw horse. See here, but it's sitting up on top of the jaw horse, whereas it was down in the jaws. And the jaws themselves were causing the saw to stop about 2 inches short of the length of the bar, and that's why I can't reach all the way through. So now it's not pressed into place, so I've got to be really gentle.